Welcome to Who Dares Rolls. I'm Charlie Etheridge Nunn, and this week I've got a fun delivery I'm going to play with here, as Kickstarter's arrived just this very morning. First of all, though, a couple of other updates. So, firstly, what have I played? I am still ongoing with Yellow King and with Deadlands, and I'll talk a little about Deadlands while I'm unboxing. I've also played a game called Storm Riders, which originally came out in Codex Joy 2 by the Gauntlet, and it's a game of 1980s action figure cartoons, you know, so that sort of Masters of the Universe, Thundercats sort of thing. It was a short one-off game, mainly because I burnt myself out on prep for several different campaigns and also for a bigger writing project. So I decided I'd do something a little short, a little fun with my weekly group. Not that the weekly campaign of Yellow King isn't fun, it's just a lot of prep. So with this, we ended up coming up with the concept for our cartoon, for our version of Storm Riders. And the resources the game provides are really good for giving you plot hooks, NPCs, villainous schemes, and playsets. There's a kind of short expansion to it in Codex Childhood, I think. And that includes like your Snake Mountain type playset environments to be able to interact with. And the great thing about this game is you create your characters like you would in any RPG. And this is powered by the Apocalypse, so you've got some basic kind of concepts of playbooks. This is simpler than powered by the Apocalypse even. It's a hack of what's called World of Dungeons. So you get your character type. So we had someone who had a vehicle as part of the action figure playset. We had kind of blocky, fighty sort of character who was good at fights, but didn't really do a huge amount other than that. We had a wacky cartoon sidekick, kind of like Orko. And when that sidekick suffered, when they failed dice rolls, everyone else healed their coolness, which is what your health is. And that's a really cool idea. You also create some of the audience, some kids generally, although there are options for other kind of for like adults, parents showing their kids these cartoons, anything like that, who will be inspired by your character somehow. And that's a way of interacting in a really interesting meta sort of way. I really enjoyed it. The group had a fun time poking and prodding at the sets, effectively, both in the cartoon sense of, you know, this is poorly animated. Like, it was mostly done fairly cheaply. The van had a decal on the toy, so it was too complex. The animators hated it. So we only ever cut just the front part of the van, or used the same bit of stock footage again and again, or blew it up, because that was a lot cheaper to deal with than constantly having people drawing it. There were questions which, for Gauntlet's different games have brilliant leading questions a lot of the time, and this had things like the Crimson Forest playset was recalled because of safety reasons. Why? What was it? And the group mentioned, okay, well, there were like the trees had too many pointy bits and kids were getting injured, and a disgruntled worker had actually changed the mold and scratched into it. So the first print run had a swear word in it, and the animators only received that version. So even though the toy was recalled, decades later, fans of the show would be freeze framing bits of it, trying to see where in the cartoon the animators might have snuck in part of this swear word. So it was very daft. It was very good fun. It's the kind of thing that I definitely would want to return to at some point, but probably for a new one-shot rather than returning to this for a sequel. So that's the newer game that I've played that I hadn't before. RPG news. We have not a huge amount post the Inquest. I know I was all excited and in on that, and now it's just like tired and calm. There is one bit which I didn't actually know was coming up until recently, which is a new expansion for the Spire role-playing game by Grant Howitt and Chris Taylor. Now, this has a great selection of authors involved. It's called Sin. I'll try and get Mike to put a link to the notification pre-launch page down below in the show notes. But some of the things that have been shared, like, there's not been a huge amount, but one of the authors, J.P. Bradley, came up with a selection of different pubs, all with fantastic names. And I saw Grant Howitt sharing that list, including such gems as the Dangling Vine, the Shivering Slab, the Misty Gulch, the Stuffed Quiver, and Randy Clam's Dockfront Steakhouse, which is a chain in the Spire. So that's brilliant. I mean, it's such a weird, wonderful world. It's what I'm hoping to be running, either Spire or Heart, once I'm done with the Yellow King campaign. And any more world building is greatly appreciated, because it's always dark and funny. Like, the humour in it never quite eliminates the sense of the ominous horrors, and the ominous horrors don't get in the way of still making it a really fun time. Also, there's film noir magic that's going to be in this. I'm curious to see what that entails, but I love a bit of film noir, so I definitely want to see that. So yes, so that's some news. I didn't really see a huge amount else right now, so now for the main feature with this, oh god, this hefty old box, which FedEx emailed me and said, oh, you've got this coming in from Pinnacle Entertainment Group. So I knew, ooh, it's Deadlands. And they said it's going to be Monday. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Oh, wait, no, it's going to be Friday. Okay, cool. So throughout the week, I admit, I refreshed a few times thinking, is it going to be sooner? And then this morning, Friday morning, it said it's going to be Thursday. And so, FedEx using time travel? Apparently not. Literally, as I was saying all this to my partner, this arrived. So yeah, this is, oh god, this was a late backing that I did for it. I went digital for Deadlands because I love the world of Deadlands. I started out with the Doomtown card game. I'd got bored of Magic. I'd played a bit of Legend for Five Rings, but it felt like I was quite late to the party. And a friend of mine, Vinny, not the one I've written about in varied reviews, but a different one. He loved cowboys. Like, he dressed a bit in the duster. Sometimes he'd wear the kind of cowboy hat sort of thing. Say howdy, which I realise I've picked up and still use even these days. And he was hugely into this really recently released collectible card game called Deadlands, and called Doomtown, based on Deadlands. And I got massively into it. It was really good fun. I still have all of my old keep doing that, all of my old Doomtown cards, which I think I'm missing 20, maybe 20 cards before I've got a playset of everything in it, which is probably the sign of a problem. And then I bought Doomtown Reloaded, which I've not got any of the recent stuff of, but was a really good updated version of it. And you'd follow a bit of a story going along. And I got really into it. My role-playing group, a lot of us would play Doomtown when we weren't role-playing. So we'd follow the story, we'd start working out what we'd do in an RPG. And when I finally actually pulled the trigger and got Deadlands, it was good fun. Didn't run a huge amount of it, but between then and now, like that must have been the late 90s that I last ran this. So this is the first proper edition of Deadlands that I've got and that I've run in a long time. So we have a few different things, and I'll cover them in the opposite order that they're coming out here. So, oh god, Gravity, my old nemesis there. 1 second. Oh dear. This is the first time that I've run Savage Worlds. So this is the box. It's a bit big. It's, I've got a large head and it's a bit bigger than my head. It's got a bunch of things in it and I keep forgetting what it is. So we'll discover it together. So, welcome for Weird Wild West. The year's 1884 and danger awaits on the wild frontier. Some say there are monsters out there, creatures born of darkness and given life by overwhelming evil. Such times create great heroes. Which, sorry my players, but great heroes. Wonderful, weird chuckers of dynamite, mainly. So yes, this uses Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, which actually for a slightly more traditional style role-playing game, it's been pretty good fun. I went for a brief spell of trying to look at other kind of trad or tradish general systems, and I kept going back to Suede. But oh dear, let's open the box. Now, this needs Savage World Adventure Edition, which I do not have a copy of, or at least I've got a digital copy of. So I will remedy that. Now we have a lot of stuff. So we have, let's see, get them all out of the way bit by bit. Right way up. Map of the Weird West. At the moment we are, let's see, where is it? Yeah, I'm running the game there in Heaston Hill, and I'll get to that one in a moment. So, this box is this to keep everything safe and not moving around. We can get rid of that. We have, now I didn't realise this, but this is the book. And again, using the measurement of my head, it's slightly taller and slightly thinner than I would expect from a trad or tradish role-playing book. Not that that's a bad thing. I quite like this size. Right, let's see. Lovecraft-esque, for instance. One of the best Lovecraftian RPGs. About that high, comparatively. So that's really neat. I'm going to be attacking this with little sticky tabs when this video is done, because I keep flicking back and forth between one PDF copy on my PC behind you right now, and one on my tablet right here, back and forth again and again, looking for rules, looking for location things, abilities, anything like that. Because I'm still getting used to this, and my group's still getting used to it. We have map again. We have... Let's see. There's a bunch of stuff on the Morgana effect, which is some meta thing that means that basically old Deadlands kind of happened, but then a wizard did it, or a witch, I guess, kind of in this case, changed all of reality, and that way they've been able to retcon things. They've stopped the whole civil wars still going on, because that's a bit shit. You know, like, the Confederacy lasted about as long as the Wii U, so the less dealing with that, the better. We have a bunch of new edges, which are advantages that your people have. We have quick draw. One of the group, Ben, he's playing a blind gunman who has quick draw, so he's really fast, does need to be pointed in the right direction from time to time though. We have, let's see, weapons, which includes dynamite, my group's catch-all solution to everything. They have learnt to set dynamite rather than just throw it, so, you know, well done them. We have, let's see, a few different things as well. We have hucksters, gambling magic, which is really good fun. Every time that Adam, who plays our huckster, it's like, well, I'm going to cast a spell, and I just hope every time it's one that's not in his repertoire, because you get a couple of spells, and you can have any spell as long as you gamble with a devil, and that's just a nice thing. I'm still waiting for it to go wrong, but when it does, I'll be ready. And we have mad scientists. This is a Wild West setting with monsters, with mad science. We have Mizuki Cox, a former doctor, former madam, and current mad scientist in a bathtub wheelchair pushed around by a robot. This is because characters don't know this, but the players do. She has grown monstrous tentacle legs. Doesn't mean she's fast at moving, but doesn't want to show anyone that. That's lovely bit of weird character stuff. But we have a mad scientist on our team. We have a shaman as well. We've got a quite well-rounded team, as well as one with people who are blind, hard of hearing, and in a wheelchair, which has been... everyone independently came up with these characters, but it's been really cool seeing people really play with the character concepts and being able to do it in the system, which is all good fun. Our shaman, Dr. Rogue, vexed me with a wonderful summoned bodyguard recently, and I was proud and frustrated at the same time. Let's see. So yeah, we've got things like timeline, world setting. I won't go page by page or chapter by chapter in that, although I probably could. What else is in the box? We still have stuff. We have... Right. Couldn't find a suitable Bowie knife or anything like that, so I'm using a stray pickup stick. Not very thematic. But we have... multiple things. We have a screen. Now, we're all running things virtually these days. With Yellow King, I've taken to actually having the GM screen down in front of my monitor just for all the reference material. And this is nicely small, still using the reference of my head, see, smaller than that. While we won't get the lovely art, I will get all of this, which I've had to have in a separate tab on my PC, and again, it's going to save a lot of faffing. Got this, an adventure, Showdown at Sundown. I've not read it in the PDF form. I have no idea how it's going to go, but I will check it out. Probably run it for a one-shot at some point. There let's see. I'm going to put those back because I will trip on all of these. We have, God, so many things. These are archetype cards. This is what happens when you cut your nails before doing an unboxing. You can tell I'm still a rookie at this. There we go. Archetype cards are your kind of pre-gens almost. If we were back in precedented times, I would be able to go, kind of run a one-shot, head down to the local game store, the Dice Saloon, put these out on the table. People can go, I'm going to take an agent, I'm going to take an explorer. If I need an NPC in a pinch, I could also use these. It's got your stats, it's got your abilities. And I like that. That's really nice. We have, I'm not going to fight with these. We have power cards, which includes some abilities. I think these are the additional abilities that you get in Deadlands compared to Suede. So I'm going to have to see if there's a Savage Worlds Adventure Edition deck to add to. Because, yeah, same with this, the Adventure deck. This is, Mechanical Mule. So all sorts of fun gadgets. They're kind of almost bending. That's how tightly they're wrapped. So yes, I'll fight those later. Now this, my boy, Blind Bill Sharp, he died. Blind Bill took a bottle to the neck. In, I think, our second full session, there was an out-of-control robot bartender, and he slipped, fell, got a bottle thrown in the neck. And I looked at the stats for bartender, and I was like, the bottles don't really do much damage, but you also add the strength of the robot, and the robot was pretty tough. And I maimed one of them, which I was able to walk back, as it was my first really weird, dangerous combat, and I'd not figured out the toughness side of it so well. So he was fine, kind of, he'd heal up, but Blind Bill died. And the player, Ben, was a really good sport about it, was in good spirits, was like, well, I'm a heroic character. It's gonna happen. And then the next day, he did a card pull to see if he got harrowed, and he recorded it and sent it to me, and he is harrowed. And this, in Deadlands, is something that it's a 1 in 26 chance, I think. 1 in 27 possibly. Yeah, because jokes are still in the deck of cards. But you have a chance when you die of coming back with one of these things riding you. So, Ben, this is the kind of thing that's in your character right now. And this is a deck of cards to say what mischief it'll get up to if it gets in control of your body. And is mostly in control. Mostly. We have, dice. Nice little Deadlands skull logo on it. The rest of them, fairly standard set. I'll probably keep them by the table for running, just in case I need to roll confidential rolls. Just because, that seems nice and thematic. There are... This is, again, something that will only be useful in precedented times. But these lovely little ammo counters. Oh, God. There are 5, and you can count up how many bullets are in your gun, or how many power points you have if you're a shaman or a huckster. So that's kind of neat. I might get to use them for myself. Oh dear, this is what caused that. These again, back to the Spillikin. These are bennies. Bennies are the fuel of your characters. Some abilities will need you to use bennies, and if the dice aren't merciful to you, you'll have some of these to help. Look at that. These are some good, solid, chunky poker chips. Yeah, got Deadlands on them. This is the side that I've been using on the tokens on the Roll20 even, and that on the other side, which I've been using for conviction, but I don't care. These are all very lovely. Ooh, they even have different designs. So that's really neat. Oh, God. So that's the main box. This was all of the weird stretch goal extras, rules-wise, compiled into a compendium. I think it was going to be PDF only, but it's all been put into a nice hardback, which was added in, I think, gratis to anyone that ordered the physical stuff. So it's got extra things for Harrowed for Mad Scientists. It's got new weird abilities, so you could be a Wichita witch. You could learn to use voodoo. You could be a US Marshal. Let's see, there are some famous folks and rascals, and an adventure and a little history. So yeah, those are the editions I had originally. So it must be second edition. I don't know. You used paper clips to track things like ammo and PowerPoint, which were kind of cool. Luckily, this is also fairly small, and where that little cardboard X was, fits nicely in the box. So that and the map away. I'm aware of the time, but I'm going to show you just a little bit of the adventure I'm running currently. Horror in Headstone Hill. Now, Heaston Hill, named after Jerem Heaston. He bought up a lot of things around the place, like the Heaston Hill. It was originally called Tarrytown, and Heaston slapped his name on it, brought electricity, which, you know, nice. Main Street's got lights on it. That's kind of neat, but things have been suspicious, and you are working for the Twilight Legion. They're kind of like Men in Black almost, but for Deadlands, you're hiding the horrors, and trying to make sure that the civvies don't have as much of a bad time with them, because the more that people are scared, the worse the Deadlands gets. So your mate, Agent Reeg, went to Heaston Hill. There we go. So this is a map of the place. So weird seeing it physically now. That's Heaston Hill. This is Heaston Hill. So you head out there to find out what's happened to Agent Reeg. He's not reported back. He's gone missing. And it's a really interesting game. It's a plot point game, which I've not seen any or played any from Savage Worlds or Deadlands or any of these things before. And this has a story structure with 3 main acts, which are 5 parts. I think the next 2 are a couple of parts each. It all builds and builds and builds into a big crescendo. And the thing is, while you've got that, there are so many plot hooks, so many, and it's fantastic. It's like Fallout almost. I guess like Red Dead Redemption, kind of, but I've not played the second one, so maybe not. But the idea is you've got that map, all of those environments. Every named place has at least one story in it. There's so much. I will finish running this, and there will be things that the group will never see. This is the player's intro, so it's a primer for them. let's see. This is the adventure. This is how big it is. Again, I'm going to be assaulting it with sticky notes and tabs. So you have Winter County. I assume that's how it's pronounced. Each locations, and I'm only showing it quickly there. Different plot hooks, different fear levels. You have the town of Easton Hill. You have random encounter tables. Yay! We had some horrific things burst out of a horse. Some Twilight Events when certain kind of points are reached in the plot. Then these little deck of Twilight Events are drawn. They cause random things. They might progress some of the plot hooks, and using my love of things like Blades in the Dark, I have told the group, once they start coming across a plot hook, I'm starting a clock. And if they don't deal with these things, they will go off. And bad things will probably happen if they're not answered. So yeah, and then we've got the adventure itself, which makes up most of this. Side quests, and bestiary. Some lovely, lovely monsters. Including that, which, lovely. There are some handouts here, which we also have. Here, this is the... One second. Realise it's shiny paper anyway, so this may not do anything, but this is Agent Reed. This is actually surprisingly nice. Ooh, that feels good. Okay, we've got some items, certificate, players, you didn't see that. We have some newspaper bits, which I will cut out if I ever do this physically. And we have these. Some nice little player pawns. And I know Savage Worlds does this, and I quite like the idea. I've not gone for any extra ones, but yeah, kind of neat. And we've got another set of archetypes and a monster. Again, ignore that, players. So yeah, that's Horror at Headstone Hill, which is not closing. There we go. Deadlands, the Weird West. Oh dear Lord. And yeah, that was good fun. I'm going to go and play with them now. And if you liked this video, subscribe. You'll see more from me about role-playing games. You'll see more from Mr. Mike B about board games. And let me know if you've played or run Deadlands in the comments, how you're finding this new edition, because I like a lot of it, but I'm still getting used to some of the ideas in the system. Also, I used to write actual play reports for Who Dares Rolls. I've been taking a lot of notes for Deadlands. I kind of want to share them, but it is a long process to put together. Let me know if you'd want to see that, see how my campaign of Headstone Hill has gone, how many different uses the group have found for dynamite, and what horrors they have faced and will in the future, the next time I get to play it. So that's it from me. Actually, one last thing. As well as all of this role-playing game chat, I also write, and if you go to explosionhigh.com, you will find a link to a pre-launch page for a comic. And if you're interested in weird superheroics, kind of like a Venture Bros-ish take on X-Men or Young Justice or anything like that, including such wonders as Skyshock, a flying shark with robot arms, then click on the notification link there. The more people aware of it, the better. And it will be launching soon, very soon. Now that is genuinely it for me. So thanks, and I will see you next time.